In the cold darkness of space, the human fleet floated silently among the stars. For decades, humanity had worked hard to explore distant galaxies. Building ships faster than light, humans had colonies on many planets, and their technology had surprised even the oldest alien civilizations. Yet, not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. Far beyond the Milky Way, in a council chamber made of shining crystal and floating platforms, the Galaxy Council gathered. The council was a group of powerful alien species who ruled many star systems. They were proud, ancient, and feared nothing. When the news came of humanity's growing power, a murmur of concern spread through the chamber. "This species moves too fast, too smart, too unpredictable," said the tallest member, a being with skin like liquid metal. "They will disturb the balance we have kept for centuries," another voice warned. A vote was called, and the council decided humanity must be controlled, or eliminated if necessary. Meanwhile, back on Earth, humans celebrated their recent space achievements. Diplomats were preparing to meet the council for a historic negotiation, a meeting that could secure humanity's place in the galaxy. Captain Elena Vargas, one of Earth's best diplomats, walked through the crowded halls of the space station. She smiled as engineers discussed and children dreamed of visiting distant planets. Nothing seemed wrong, yet an unease lingered, a feeling that something dark was approaching. The day of the council meeting arrived, and the largest chamber in the galaxy was filled with alien leaders. Their faces were strange, some shimmering like stars, and all looked down at the humans with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Captain Vargas stepped forward with calm confidence. "Ready to speak for all of humanity," she began. "Honored members of the Galaxy Council, we come in peace, seeking friendship and cooperation." But before she could finish, the council erupted in accusations. "You humans have violated the sacred laws of interstellar travel," a tall, crystalline alien shouted. "You are reckless, dangerous, and must be punished." Vargas tried to respond, but her words were drowned by the council's judgment. The humans were shocked, their carefully planned diplomacy crushed in seconds. No evidence, no trial, just a public humiliation before the entire galaxy. As the council turned their attention to closing human trade routes and isolating colonies, whispers of anger spread among the human delegates. Captain Vargas felt her blood boil, but she kept her composure. The council underestimated human pride and resilience. Back on the observation deck, young engineer Leo Kim watched the events unfold. His heart pounded as he realized the council's betrayal was not only personal, it was a threat to every human colony in the stars. In the following days, humanity returned home, but the world was not the same. Governments held emergency meetings, scientists worked around the clock, and citizens prepared for the worst. News channels broadcast the council's decisions, but instead of fear, the messages sparked anger, unity, and determination. No one wanted war, but every human knew that peace offered by betrayal was worthless. Stories of council cruelty spread quickly, and humans who once dreamed of exploration now dreamed of revenge. Captain Vargas stood on the deck of the flagship, staring at the stars. She remembered the council's words, the cold dismissal of humanity's achievements. "They think we are weak," she said quietly, "but they have no idea what we can do." Her crew nodded, understanding the weight of her words. They were not just humans, they were the future of their species, and they would not be silenced. The council, confident in their superiority, continued their plans. They had no idea that humanity was already watching, learning, and preparing. A secret meeting of Earth's best scientists and military leaders was held in the hidden chambers beneath Mars. Here, plans were drawn, ships were upgraded, and strategies were formed. Every human who contributed knew the risk, but they shared a single goal: to make the council regret underestimating them. As night fell on Earth, the stars shone brighter than ever. Some saw only light, but humans saw possibility, determination, and the spark of rebellion. Captain Vargas looked at the sky and whispered, "This is only the beginning," and somewhere, deep in the galaxy, the council remained unaware of the storm they had awakened. Humanity's fury was rising, slow but unstoppable, ready to strike when the time was right. Little did the council know, a species they thought simple, weak, and naive was already preparing its answer, a force that would shake the galaxy and demand respect. Humanity was no longer a newcomer, no longer to be ignored, and the first step of their revenge was about to begin. The council thought humanity was weak, predictable, and easy to control. They did not see the fire that burned quietly in every human heart, far from the judgment of alien eyes. Humanity began to prepare, deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a hidden network of tunnels and laboratories. Humans worked tirelessly. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers gathered together, united by a single purpose. Every ship was upgraded, every weapon was tested, and every strategy was written on glowing screens. This was no ordinary fleet, it was humanity's answer to betrayal. A silent storm waiting to strike. Captain Elena Vargas walked through the underground complex, her face calm but her eyes sharp. She passed rows of engineers working on starships that could travel faster than any alien vessel. "Make sure the energy shields are doubled," she said, her voice steady. A young engineer looked up nervously. "Captain, we have never tested this before." Vargas smiled slightly. "Neither have the Council. Remember that." In a separate room, Leo Kim studied alien technology captured from previous encounters. He tapped his fingers on the console, analyzing weaknesses in the Council's systems. "Here," he said, pointing at a holographic map of Council outposts. "This is where we hit first." The room was silent for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Humanity's strength was not just in numbers, it was in creativity, cunning, and the will to survive. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Council's propaganda painted humans as lawbreakers and criminals. But humans did not fear their words, they used them as fuel. Citizens across the planets began training, volunteers from every colony, learning the skills of war. Old rivals joined together, knowing that unity was their only chance. Children watched simulations of star battles, dreaming of the day they could defend their home. Back in the secret chambers beneath Mars, a team of scientists revealed their newest invention, a stealth ship capable of disappearing in the shadow of stars, invisible even to the Council's strongest sensors. "This changes everything," whispered one officer. "Yes," said Vargas, "and it gives us a chance to show them humans are not to be underestimated." As the fleet prepared, spies sent back reports from Council systems. The Council was confident, unaware of the storm building just beyond their perception. Every move humans made was deliberate, every test designed to prepare for one goal, the first strike. But the humans did not rush. They knew patience and planning would give them the advantage. One night, Leo Kim walked on the observation deck of the Mars orbital station, staring at the stars. "The Council thinks they controlled the galaxy," he said softly, "but they don't understand us at all." Vargas stood beside him, her expression unreadable. "They think we are scared," she said, "but they don't know what we are capable of." For the first time in history, humans were not just exploring, they were ready to fight. And this fight would be their message to the galaxy, clear and unyielding. In the weeks that followed, the secret fleet grew stronger. Ships equipped with cloaking devices, plasma cannons, and AI-guided drones filled the hidden docks. Every human who joined knew the risk, but also the honor. They were no longer just citizens, they were defenders of all humanity, ready to face the Council's wrath. As the Council continued their schemes, they remained blind to the storm approaching. They did not see the humans moving in shadows, preparing traps, and learning their weaknesses. On the eve of the first strike, Vargas addressed her crew, her voice carrying the weight of history. "Tomorrow," she said, "we show the Council that humanity cannot be ignored, underestimated, or broken." The crew's faces reflected determination, courage, and a fire that had been dormant for too long. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the Council continued their plans, unaware that every calculation they made had already been anticipated. Humanity's retaliation was coming, silent but unstoppable. The betrayal had ignited a force that would not rest, and soon, the stars themselves would witness the rise of a species they had tried to suppress. The galaxy was quiet, almost peaceful, but that calm was a trap. Humanity's secret fleet moved like shadows through the void. Cloaked and silent, ships glided past planets and asteroid fields. Invisible to the Council's sensors, every captain knew the stakes. This was not just a battle, it was a message. Captain Elena Vargas stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes fixed on the holographic map. "Remember," she said to her crew, "we do not fight to destroy, we fight to show strength, to make them remember us." The crew nodded, hands ready on controls, hearts pounding. For months, humans had prepared, tested every weapon, studied every weakness in the Council's defenses, and now, the moment had come. The target was a major Council outpost at the edge of the Orion sector, a hub for their military operations. It was heavily guarded, with fleets, laser grids, and defense drones. Yet, the humans were not afraid. Using stealth technology, they slipped past the outer defenses, appearing where the Council least expected. The first wave of human ships moved in precise formations. Plasma cannons and ion torpedoes struck simultaneously. Council alarms blared across the outpost, but it was too late. Human pilots used maneuvers no alien had anticipated. Ships disappeared in bursts of light, only to reappear behind the Council fleet. Chaos spread among the alien commanders, their perfectly ordered defenses crumbling under human ingenuity. Leo Kim, in his command module, guided the fleet with precision. He had predicted every counterattack, every escape route. Even the Council's elite warships struggled to keep up, their sensors unable to track human stealth technology. "Focus on the control tower," he said. "If we take that down, their systems will fail." Explosions lit up the void, sending shockwaves through space. The humans moved like a single organism, each ship part of a greater plan. On the Council outpost, alarms screamed, flashing red across control panels. Commanders shouted orders, but their strategies fell apart. "No, this cannot be," cried one, his voice trembling. "They should not be able to do this." But the humans did. Every strike was calculated, every movement clever. The Council had thought humanity weak, but now they were witnessing a force they could not predict. Captain Vargas watched the battle unfold on the bridge, her calm demeanor hiding her excitement. "They are learning," she said softly, "but we are always one step ahead." A Council warlord activated a hidden weapon, a massive plasma cannon capable of destroying fleets. The humans anticipated it, their own ships maneuvering around the blast. The weapon fired, and the humans used the explosion to mask their next attack. In the chaos, they disabled the Council's main communication network, leaving the outpost blind and vulnerable. The first strike was not just about destruction, it was about proving a point. The galaxy needed to understand that humanity could not be ignored, underestimated, or betrayed. When the smoke cleared and the last Council ships retreated, the humans emerged victorious. Minimal human losses, maximum effect. The Council outpost lay in ruins, and the message was clear. Humanity had arrived, and it would not be contained. Yet, as the fleet regrouped, a Council warlord swore vengeance. Hidden from human senses, he observed the battlefield, anger burning like a star. "They have struck first," he muttered, "but they will not strike twice without paying the price." Humanity had won this battle, but the war had only begun. The stars themselves seemed to tremble as the first strike echoed across the galaxy, a warning that humans were clever, united, and unstoppable when provoked. Captain Vargas looked at her crew, pride shining in her eyes. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We have shown them what humans can do, and they will remember it." The crew cheered quietly, knowing their victory was only the first step. And somewhere deep in the Council chambers, fear began to grow. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Council was furious, their pride shattered by humanity's first strike. In their vast command chambers, warlords shouted, alien machines hummed, and holograms displayed human fleets in ruin. They refused to believe that humans could strike so cleverly, yet they knew one thing: retaliation was inevitable, and it would be devastating. Captain Elena Vargas watched the alerts on the flagship bridge. The Council's fleets were approaching fast, larger than anything humans had faced before. Every sensor warned of overwhelming numbers, massive plasma cannons, and advanced drones. "Their firepower is more than double our fleet," said Leo Kim, his fingers moving quickly across the controls. Vargas nodded, her mind racing. "Then we fight smarter, not harder." Human colonies across the stars braced for the counterattack. Civilians hid in shelters, while young cadets manned defense stations. The galaxy's once peaceful planets shook as Council warships cut through space. The Council unleashed everything they had, determined to crush humanity once and for all. In the midst of chaos, a young strategist, Lieutenant Mara Chen, discovered a hidden pattern in the Council's attack. "They always strike in waves, following the same paths," she said, pointing at the holographic map. "Then we use it against them," Vargas replied, a small smile crossing her face. Human engineers modified the stealth ships to act as decoys, luring the Council into traps. The real fleet stayed hidden, ready to strike from the shadows. As the Council's first wave entered the trap zone, explosions erupted in empty space. The decoy ships mimicked human movements, confusing enemy sensors. The Council warlords screamed orders, their fleets colliding with hidden mines and plasma nets. Chaos spread through their ranks. Yet they pressed on, determined to win. Humanity, though outnumbered, moved like a single mind, turning the Council's strength against them. On one colony, the Council deployed a devastating plasma cannon aimed to obliterate the entire human fleet. Vargas ordered a risky maneuver, guiding her ships in tight formation around the blast. The cannon fired a massive wave of energy lighting up the stars. Yet the humans had predicted it, and the explosion concealed their final move. Stealth ships struck from behind, disabling the cannon before it could fire again. For the first time, the Council realized humans were not just reactive, they were brilliant, strategic, and fearless. But the battle was far from over. A Council superwarship, hidden from sensors, emerged from a nebula, armed with weapons powerful enough to destroy entire planets. The humans faced near defeat, their shields faltering and communications jammed. For a moment, hope seemed lost. But Vargas remained calm. She trusted her crew, their training, and the strategy that had carried them this far. Mara Chen, working with Leo Kim, discovered the superwarship had a blind spot in its energy grid. "Here," Mara said, pointing at the display. "We can disable it if we act now." Vargas nodded, giving the order, "All units, follow the plan. Precision is our weapon." The fleet moved with perfect timing, weaving through danger, striking the superwarship's weak point. Explosions tore through its hull, and the Council's flagship faltered, shaking with fire. As the dust cleared, humanity's fleet survived, battered but victorious. The counterattack had failed, but the Council's power was still formidable. Vargas knew this victory was only temporary, a pause in the war. "Today, we survived," she said. "Tomorrow, we strike at the heart of their power." Her crew cheered quietly, pride and relief mixing with determination. Humanity had faced the storm and endured, proving they were more than capable. Deep in the Council chambers, anger turned to fear. The warlords realized humans were not a simple species, they were clever, united, and relentless. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that mistake would cost dearly. Humanity's rise was unstoppable, and the next battle would decide the fate of the stars. The stage was set for the final strike. The Council had shown their power, but humanity had shown their courage, intelligence, and heart. The galaxy waited, tense and silent, for the day humans would take the fight to the Council's very gates. And somewhere, in the hidden chambers of Mars and Earth, humans prepared for the ultimate battle, ready to claim their place in the stars. Asterisk. The galaxy held its breath. After months of battles, betrayals, and cunning strategies, humanity was ready to strike at the Council's heart. Captain Elena Vargas stood on the flagship bridge, eyes scanning the star-filled horizon. "This is it," she said to her crew. "The moment we have trained for, the moment we prove our place among the stars." The fleet moved in perfect formation, silent, deadly, and confident. The Council's central command station floated near a dying star, its shields immense and defenses unmatched. Alien warlords believed humans would never dare approach. Yet humanity had learned patience, strategy, and cunning, using stealth ships as a distraction. The fleet slipped past the outer defenses. No alarms, no sensors, only the silent advance of human ingenuity. Leo Kim coordinated the attack, his fingers flying across controls. Every movement had been predicted, every counterattack calculated. Plasma cannons, drones, and energy nets struck in precise timing. The Council's defenses faltered, overwhelmed by the unexpected coordination. Even the most advanced alien warships could not respond fast enough. Inside the Council chambers, alarms screamed and holograms flashed red. Warlords shouted orders, but chaos reigned. How can they do this?" one cried, his voice trembling. "They are clever, relentless, unstoppable," another admitted. The humans moved like a single organism, their fleet acting with the precision of centuries of planning. Vargas gave the order for the final strike. Stealth ships disabled the station's power core, while assault ships entered the central docking bay. Human soldiers advanced with courage, precision, and determination. They faced Council forces, but morale, intelligence, and bravery gave them the upper hand. Every corner of the station was cleared, every weapon disabled. The Council's heart was exposed, and humanity moved forward without hesitation. The central command core erupted in controlled explosions. Energy surged and shields collapsed. The Council's leadership realized defeat was inevitable. They could no longer deny humanity's strength, courage, and brilliance. Captain Vargas transmitted a message to the galaxy, clear and unwavering: humanity stands united, and the Council will respect us, or be remembered only as those who tried to suppress us. As the explosions faded and silence returned, humans floated among the stars, victorious, minimal losses, maximum impact. Every human ship, soldier, and engineer had played a part. The galaxy witnessed a species that had once been underestimated rise with courage and intelligence. No longer the underdogs, humanity had claimed its place in the cosmos. Somewhere deep in the Council's chambers, fear replaced pride. The warlords knew the galaxy had changed forever. They had faced a species they thought simple, naive, and weak, yet humans had shown them unity, intelligence, and an unbreakable spirit the galaxy would never forget. Captain Vargas looked out at the stars from her flagship. "They underestimated us," she said softly. "But now, the stars know humanity will not be ignored." Her crew cheered quietly, feeling pride, relief, and the thrill of victory. And as the fleet set course for Earth, hope and determination spread across every human colony. The betrayal had sparked fury, and fury had become triumph. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy would remember the day the Council learned that humans are not to be underestimated.